Hey, happy Valentine's Day, YouTube. This is Dr. Anita, and I am the founder of the Dr. Anita Group, which is a private membership association where all the members are facilitating personal growth, personal strength through wisdom and realistic strategies that help you get the changes that you want in your life. So, today I want to talk a little bit about when to quit. I lost $30,000 in a failed business. Now, I have to tell you, for some business owners, that's not a large amount of money. For me, because it's just me doing my business, that was a lot of money. And truth be told, if my husband were here, he would probably be inclined to tell you that maybe we lost more like $50,000, not just 30,000, but he's not here. So I don't have to say that. At any rate, it was a very difficult situation. I have been working for the past 22 years as a personal executive coach. I'm a now retired licensed psychologist. I've been working primarily with my coaching clients as a one-on-one format. So I trade my time for money. And several years ago, I just started getting more of a sense of urgency about helping more people with some really important information that I was getting. My clients were getting great results in the work that we were doing. And I thought, oh gosh, wouldn't it be fantastic to take this information and give it to a wider audience and be able to have like lots of people, business owners in particular, small business owners, home business owners, have the strategies that they need to actually do well in the business that they chose. So I decided that I would start an online membership site. And that would be my way of being able to serve a lot more people in a far more affordable way for the average small business owner and home-based business owner, and give them information that's reliable, that's practical, and that's just built from experience of just me over the years seeing what has worked by watching my clients and coaching them and giving them the strategies that psychology shows works as well. And hey, what a great idea. So I decide to start to downshift my one-on-one coaching and really put a lot of all my attention and energy into this online membership site. I dumped, like I said, depending on who you talk to, over $30,000 and 2.5 years of my blood, sweat, and tears. And that project generated not one dime, not 1 cent. And the difficulty in when you're pursuing something, especially business related like this, and you're taking a risk, is you don't know when to quit. Like you don't know when to say, okay, this isn't working. We need to like just make a different move here, because like you start to think, well, if I stop now, then what does that mean about all this money that I've dumped into this? What does this mean about all of the time? I mean, I took 2.5 years of my life and I was downshifting the number of individual clients because I was really putting all of my eggs in this basket. And so it just felt like I had to stick with it as I was going along. Because after a year of not getting anything, you think, okay, it's only been a year. There's a few more strategic things that I can do, and we'll just keep this moving. And I did those things and still no movement. I mean, like I said, this generated not one dime. It was painful. And you don't know when to stop because there's no like glaring right answer or wrong answer. And so for me, it was just a decision I'd realized I had to make for my own personal sanity, because it was like I didn't, like, you can keep dumping money and time into something, but at what point does it not make sense to do that anymore? And by the way, so after I made that decision, I had to go lick my wounds for a couple of months. It was embarrassing. I mean, for me, I felt personally embarrassed by it because I was telling everybody this is what I was doing. My income had dropped because I was, not taking as many individual clients. So it was a really tough situation for me. So, but I did, and actually things have improved since making that decision. And so I learned a lot of things, and I've actually since found myself with my clients, coaching clients who are in similar situations, which is interesting. How do you make this decision on when to stop something? And what are the steps that you go through in order to make that decision? Because sometimes, like I said, that it's not a right or wrong. It's just, what is going to be in your best interest. So I thought we would talk a little bit about that in case you're in that situation. Now, these steps are not about how you decide it's time to quit a relationship. Okay. So do not take these strategies and try to apply them to relationships at all. And by the way, all of this information is just for information and educational purposes only. I'm not giving you direct advice about your specific unique situation. I advise you to access qualified professional help to help you guide you through this difficult decision. And this is certainly not licensed mental health care. So now all of that's out of the way. Um, what I realized when I did kind of a postmortem, an autopsy on what went wrong with my situation, I realized that I was unwilling to do what it takes, honestly, to get noticed online. I mean, there's just that's really what it came down to. And what I was doing was trying to give business owners the personal strategies, the personal improvement strategies, so that they could be stronger business people and go out into the world and earn more money. What I was unwilling to do is I was unwilling to say, if you follow these 4 simple steps, you'll make $1,000 extra this month. And when you're trying to get noticed online, you really do have to say provocative stuff like that. Because, I mean, like if you think about it, if you're on Facebook and you see an ad and that ad just says, hey, learn about some strategies that you can, that might improve your business. I mean, that's not compelling. You're not going to click on that. I wouldn't click on it. But if you see an ad that says, do these 2 simple things and you'll automatically make $500 more this month. That's okay. But my background as a psychologist means that I have a different sort of, I'll call it ethics that have been bred into me through my professional training through the years. And I just was unwilling to say that because in my mind, I could never promise that anybody would make even one extra dime by following these 4 simple steps. I mean, it worked with my individual clients, but I can't promise that in a group. There's no way that I was going to put that in an ad because someone's going to hold me responsible for that. So I was unwilling to do what it takes. And for me, coming to terms with that is what really helped me make this decision. But that was my situation. Every situation is so different. So, but let me give you some 5 basic guidelines, okay, that you can use if you want. Again, this is not about helping you with your specific situation, just giving you some general guidelines on how to think about this very challenging situation that you might find yourself in. Okay, so the first thing to do is to remember why you started this project to begin with. What was the purpose of it? What did you hope that it was going to achieve? Did you hope that it was going to help make you more money? Was it supposed to save you more time or more energy or something like that? Was it supposed to be a bridge to help you get to something else? Be really clear. Remember back when you started this, even before you even started it, what was it that what was the image, the vision that you had in your mind about this project that you got excited enough about it to even start it to begin with? Get really clear. What were the specific things that you hoped this project would do? Okay. So once you are very clear on that, the next thing that you want to do is be extremely specific on why you're debating about even stopping the project, putting it to an end. Why? Is it because, like with me, I wasn't making any money? And that was, I mean, for me, my higher purpose, my higher mission is always to help people get better. I want to help you overcome and achieve. That's my mission, is to help people overcome and achieve. And I mean, that's what guides my work on a daily basis. Also, I wanted to be able to make money while I'm helping people overcome and achieve. So I wasn't helping people overcome and achieve, and I wasn't making any money. 2 main reasons that I started it. I wasn't going anywhere with that. So that's a problem. So for me, those were my specific reasons that I started to debate with myself, like, is this worth continuing? So what is it that's not happening with you that that is causing you to debate this? Or what is happening that's causing you to debate whether you should continue with it or not? Sometimes when you're in a project, all of a sudden it starts to have a degree of success or movement or whatever, and there's other issues that crop up that you hadn't anticipated, and you didn't realize, oh, I didn't know that when I was doing this, that meant that I'd have to deal with this other thing. And I don't really like dealing with this other thing. And now all of a sudden you're saddled with, maybe extra staff that you don't really want to manage, or whatever it is. There could be any number of reasons. But I want you to sometimes actually taking a retreat, taking a day off from your project, whatever it is really valuable, so that you can do I don't want to call it an autopsy because it's not dead yet, but you can do a real in-depth evaluation of what's going on. Why are you even thinking about stopping? What's behind that? What's going on in your head that's causing you to have this mental debate? Okay. And write these things down. Are you burned out? I mean, you could be burned out and not even realize it. Like maybe you wake up and you feel cynical all the time. You feel like you don't have the energy to kind of keep things moving forward. Maybe it's something like that. Whatever it is, be really deliberate and very clear with yourself. I would highly advise you to write these things down so that it's on paper. And also write about like what are the advantages to keep it moving? Like maybe you're in a weird position that I was. Like maybe you are seeing some success, but it's not enough to like make you want to think that you're going to get to this outcome, and you don't know if you will or not until you stick with it. And so that could be going in your mind too. That really the important thing is to take all of the mental debate out of your mind and to put it on paper and to be extremely clear about what this debate is in your mind. What is driving this indecision? Okay. Third thing that you want to do is make a deadline for yourself. So now that you have on paper the questions that you're asking yourself and why you're asking yourself these questions. What are the things that are causing you to be dissatisfied or indecisive, that you're even thinking about putting an end to this project that you may have dumped lots of money and time and resources into? So here's what I strongly recommend, that you make a deadline for yourself. And it can be whatever amount of time makes sense to you. Maybe it's 3 months, maybe it's 6 months, maybe it's a year, completely what's up with your unique situation, but have a deadline. And with that deadline, attach very specific metrics that you will need to see in order to help you make the decision, yay or nay. Do we continue or do we let it go? So it might be that you have to see some sort of bump in revenue. It might be that you have to personally be able to have more time. Like maybe the project is just taking more of your personal time and energy than you thought it was going to. And so you have to be able to figure out, is there a way to delegate certain things, or in some way, shape, or form, make it more manageable for you so that it's not wearing on you. And maybe you need to see that specific outcome by that specific deadline in order to help you make that decision. The key is that these are metrics, like really something specific by a specific date. And you're going to commit to yourself that if you don't see these things happen by that specific date, then that's a signal to you. That's the information that you need in order to decide, okay, we're going to let this go. Or on the positive side, maybe you'll see those metrics starting to kind of come up and you'll see evidence that we're moving in the right direction. This is where it gets a little bit tricky too. It's a lot of gray area here. You might see positive movement towards these metrics without actually having achieved what the ultimate metric is, what that specific goal was. And again, that's just where you have to make a decision. Was it enough movement forward in order for you to say, okay, let me set another deadline? And then this deadline is going to be, a little bit more firm, like, and then just go from there. But the key is to be there, have a deadline. And so that way, because let me tell you, the brain, and this is going to come up next time, the longer you put off making this decision, the worse it's going to be. The human brain craves closure, craves closure. So if you are keeping all of this mental debate going on in your mind, and you just don't know what to do, what's happening is you're taking your mental energy and you're scattering it. Okay. And a confused mind doesn't move forward. It can't move forward because you're taking all of these worries and anxieties and thoughts, and they're just consuming your whole brain, as opposed to just committing, I'm going to do this or I'm going to do that. And that's what creates forward motion. When there's too much stuff spread out like this, there's absolutely no way that you can move forward, because you just can't. Like, that's not how the mind works. If it's going, your actions are going to follow where your mind is. And so if you're scattered, like you can't make this decision, you're not going to move forward, which is the power, as the step before, of having a deadline, just saying, I'm going to go all in on this until this date. And I'm going to look for these metrics, these outcome measures. And if they're not there, then that's all I need to know. Because what you want to do is give your brain clarity so that it can move forward. right now, and I did a video a couple weeks ago called The Tyranny of Indecision, and you might want to watch that. How really damaging indecision is to your human brain and to forward progress just in general. So you're really doing yourself a lot of favors by pulling yourself out of this indecisive mode because you're wasting a lot of your physical and emotional energy. That's just how the human brain works. Okay. So lastly, and this is tough, if you reach that deadline and those metrics haven't been met, you know it's time to put this to rest. Have the courage to do that. One of the reasons, and this was mine for a while, that we resist pulling the plug when we know we really have to, is because it's embarrassing. And then sometimes people move from embarrassment to feeling ashamed. And there's actually a huge difference between feeling embarrassed and feeling ashamed. When you feel ashamed about something, it means you feel like it's you personally, something about you, your who you are that is deficient, it's unworthy, it's not good enough. You don't have what it takes. Something really fundamental about who you are as a human being gets triggered and it makes us feel ashamed as opposed to just feeling embarrassed. You might feel a little bit embarrassed, but that usually when people are embarrassed, they don't cross that line into, oh, it's because I'm a bad person. I'm just embarrassed because told everybody I was going to do all this stuff. And it's embarrassing to put all this time and money into it and then not move anywhere forward, as opposed to this failed. And that means I'm a failure, that I don't have what it takes, that there's something wrong with me, that I can't have this thing that I wanted and that I really tried to have. And so sometimes when we are forced to make a decision that we don't want to make because we take the decision and we make it personal. It's about us instead of making the decision about the project and the worthiness of the project, not the worthiness of you as a human being. And that's going to be the topic of my next video because a lot of people are trying to avoid shame and it causes them to make some decisions that are probably not in their best interest. So I hope this was helpful. I mean, it's always tough. I'm working with a client now who's going through, trying to make this decision. Like, do you stick with it or not? And we're walking through all of these same things that I talked to you about. And I think we all find ourselves in this place in some part of our lives at some point. This is certainly more from a business perspective, but certainly there's personal projects that we start too. Like, you may start a diet, you may start a new way of eating, and you think, oh, or an exercise program, and you want a certain outcome, and it's like you go through this, and and nothing's really changing. And speaking as a middle-aged woman, let me tell you, all of those things are a lot harder to get in shape and lose weight when you're a certain age, women of a certain age. And so that just gets difficult too. And like how do you know when to stop? Like if there's been a little bit of weight loss or you can see a little bit of muscle definition, is that enough or should I try something else that could get results faster or easier or whatever? There's always these mental debates. The problem is that the mental debate, the longer you keep that debate going in your mind, the less energy that you're going to have and the less forward motion that you can make. Because just think about all the mental energy, and if you can direct all of that to one outcome versus I don't know about this, what about that? Maybe I should change this, maybe I should make that different. And all of a sudden everything, your power is now spread out and it's not going to be concentrated. But achievement and forward motion happens best when it's concentrated. And that happens when there's closure and there's decisions that are made. So I hope this was helpful. And hey, wanted to let you know, starting in March, I am starting a group-based program called the Dr. Anita Group. And it's specifically to help people just like you overcome and achieve. I have amassed over 30 years of really great experience in education and information myself, working with a ton of people, thousands and thousands of people in so many different areas. And so I can give you practical and realistic advice that's going to help you and information education, group coaching that's going to help you get to the goals that you want. So stay tuned for more information about that. I'm really excited about it. It's kind of like the group program that I was working on that didn't work several years ago, but I've learned a lot. Like, I can't promise you that you're going to be happier and healthier and make more money, but I can promise you I'm going to give you strategies and I'm going to be there to support you. And there's going to be a whole community of people who are doing the same thing who can support you as well. And importantly, who you can support. So stay tuned for that. I look forward to telling you more about that coming down the pike. All right, have a fantastic day. It is Valentine's Day of 2024. So if you have your Valentine in your life and you haven't figured out what to do today, maybe take 5 minutes and shoot that person a really lovely text message. Maybe even pick up the phone, order some flowers or something really special for that person. All right, I'll see you next time.